What if the people closest to you became the very reason your life fell apart? What if betrayal, slavery, prison, and false accusations were only the beginning of your destiny? This is the extraordinary story of Joseph, the dreamer who went from being hated by his brothers to becoming one of the most powerful rulers in Egypt. A journey of jealousy, suffering, faith, forgiveness, and destiny. This is Bible Epics. Joseph was born into a complicated family. His father was Jacob, the grandson of Abraham and son of Isaac. Joseph's mother was Rachel, the woman Jacob loved deeply. But Jacob's household was filled with rivalry, tension, and emotional division. Jacob had children through multiple women, creating jealousy among the brothers from an early age. Yet among all his sons, Jacob loved Joseph the most. Joseph reminded Jacob of Rachel, the love of his life, and that favoritism became impossible to hide. As Joseph grew older, Jacob gave him something that would change everything: a special robe, a colorful garment that symbolized honor, affection, and distinction. To Joseph's brothers, it was more than clothing. It was proof that their father loved Joseph more, and bitterness began to grow. Mia, Alpha Perspective, Favoritism and Family Division. Sometimes the deepest wounds do not begin with enemies, they begin inside families. Jacob loved Joseph deeply, but visible favoritism created emotional division among the brothers. Love that is not balanced can unintentionally plant resentment, insecurity, jealousy, and silent hatred. And while Joseph carried genuine dreams and purpose, wisdom may have required greater humility in how he shared them. Not everyone celebrating with you is truly happy for you. Sometimes destiny attracts admiration, and sometimes it attracts envy. But Joseph was not only different because of his father's love, he also carried something unusual: dreams. One night, Joseph dreamed that he and his brothers were gathering sheaves in the field. Suddenly, his brothers' sheaves bowed down to his own. Joseph told his brothers the dream, and they hated him even more.
He thinks he's better than us.
The sun and moon and 11 stars were bowing down to me.
You expect us to bow to you?
Then Joseph had another dream. This time, the sun, moon, and 11 stars bowed before him. Even Jacob became disturbed.
Will your mother and I truly bow before you?
But while others mocked the dreams, Jacob quietly wondered if they meant something greater. Joseph's brothers, however, saw only arrogance, and hatred turned dangerous.
He thinks he's better than us, Father's favorite. We should teach him a lesson he won't forget.
One day, Jacob sent Joseph to check on his brothers as they tended flocks far from home. As Joseph approached in his colorful robe, the brothers saw him from a distance, and they made a horrifying decision.
Here comes the dreamer. Let us kill him.
But Reuben, the eldest brother, intervened. Instead of killing Joseph, they threw him into an empty pit. Joseph cried and begged for mercy, but Joseph's brothers ignored his cries. But his brothers ignored him. Then a caravan of Ishmaelite traders passed nearby. Judah suggested they sell
Please,
Joseph instead.
don't do this to me. You think you're greater than all of us because of your dreams? What profit is it if we kill our brother and conceal his blood? Come, let us sell him to the Ishmaelites, and let not our hand be upon him, for he is our brother, our own flesh. And his brothers listened.
For 20 pieces of silver, Joseph was sold into slavery. To hide their crime, the brothers dipped Joseph's robe in goat's blood. When Jacob saw it, he believed wild animals had killed his beloved son, and Jacob mourned deeply. Meanwhile, Joseph's journey into suffering had only begun. Joseph was taken to Egypt, far from home, far from family, far from everything familiar. He was sold to Potiphar, an important Egyptian official and captain of Pharaoh's guard. Yet even as a slave, Joseph stood out. He was disciplined, wise, trustworthy, and God's favor remained upon him. Potiphar noticed Joseph's excellence and eventually placed him in charge of his entire household. Joseph rose from slave to trusted servant. But another trial was waiting. Potiphar's wife became attracted to Joseph. Again and again she tried to seduce him.
Stay with me.
But Joseph refused.
I cannot. I will not sin against God.
One day, when nobody else was nearby, she grabbed Joseph and demanded he stay with her.
Stay with me.
No, I cannot betray my master or God.
Then you reject me?
I will not do this.
Joseph fled. But as he escaped, she held on to his garment. Humiliated and furious, she accused Joseph of trying to assault her. Potiphar became enraged, and Joseph, though innocent, was thrown into prison. Again, Joseph lost everything: his freedom, his position, his reputation. But even in prison, his story was not over. Inside prison, Joseph once again gained favor. The prison warden noticed Joseph's character and placed responsibilities into his care. Then one day, two prisoners arrived: Pharaoh's cupbearer and Pharaoh's baker. Both men had disturbing dreams. Joseph listened carefully, and then he revealed their meanings. To the cupbearer, Joseph said,
In 3 days, Pharaoh will restore your position.
To the baker, Joseph gave terrible news.
In 3 days, Pharaoh will execute you.
Exactly as Joseph predicted, both dreams came true. Before leaving prison, Joseph begged the cupbearer,
Please remember me when you return to Pharaoh.
but the cupbearer forgot Joseph, and Joseph remained imprisoned for years. Then Pharaoh himself began having terrifying dreams. In one dream, 7 healthy cows were devoured by 7 thin, sickly cows. In another, 7 healthy heads of grain were consumed by 7 withered heads. None of Egypt's wise men could explain the dreams. Then suddenly, the cupbearer remembered Joseph. Joseph was brought before Pharaoh.
I hear you can interpret dreams. These dreams trouble my spirit. God is revealing what is about to happen. Can you truly explain them? The answer does not come from me, but from God.
Joseph explained the dreams. 7 years of abundance were coming, but they would be followed by 7 years of devastating famine. Joseph advised Pharaoh to prepare by storing food during the prosperous years. Pharaoh was
Can we find
astonished.
anyone wiser than this man?
In a single moment, Joseph's life changed. From prisoner to ruler.
From this day forward, you shall oversee Egypt.
All authority has been given to Joseph, except the throne itself.
The years ahead will test this nation. We must prepare now.
Then let it be done exactly as you have spoken.
Joseph now wore royal garments instead of prison chains. He traveled through Egypt, organizing massive food storage projects. During the 7 years of abundance, Egypt gathered enormous supplies. Then the famine came, and it spread far beyond Egypt. Nations became desperate for food, including the land where Joseph's family still lived. Back home, Jacob sent Joseph's brothers to Egypt to buy grain. The brothers entered Egypt and unknowingly bowed before Joseph. The dreams had come true, but the brothers did not recognize him. Joseph, however, recognized them immediately. The very men who sold him into slavery now stood helpless before him. Joseph did not reveal himself immediately. Instead, he tested his brothers. Had they changed? Did they still carry cruelty and jealousy in their hearts? Joseph accused them of being spies. He imprisoned one brother temporarily, then demanded they return with Benjamin, Joseph's younger brother and Rachel's other son. Jacob feared losing Benjamin, but eventually the brothers returned. Joseph watched carefully, and for the first time, he saw genuine remorse. Judah even offered himself as a substitute to protect Benjamin. The brothers were no longer the same men who betrayed Joseph years earlier. Finally, Joseph could no longer contain himself. He ordered everyone else to leave the room. Then he broke down in tears.
I am Joseph, your brother. Joseph, my brother!
We never imagined this.
You intended evil against me, but God used it for good.
Forgive us.
The brothers were terrified. They expected revenge, punishment, perhaps death. Joseph forgave the very men who betrayed him, and he invited his entire family to live safely in Egypt during the famine. After years of pain, separation, slavery, and prison, Joseph was reunited with his father. Jacob wept as he embraced the son he thought was dead. Mia, Alpha Perspective, Pain, Purpose, and Destiny. Joseph's story reminds us that purpose is not always born in comfort. Sometimes destiny passes through betrayal. Sometimes growth passes through suffering. And sometimes the season that looks like rejection is actually preparation for something greater. Joseph was rejected by people, but still chosen for purpose. His pain did not destroy him, it prepared him. And years later, the same dream others mocked became the very thing that saved nations. Joseph's story became one of the greatest journeys in biblical history. A story of betrayal, false accusations, endurance, faith, wisdom, and forgiveness. He was hated by his brothers, sold into slavery, thrown into prison, forgotten by men, but never forgotten by God. And in the end, the dreamer became a ruler. This was the story of Joseph, a man who discovered that even suffering can become part of destiny. Thank you for watching Bible Epics. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more powerful biblical stories.